Using Motion.io's electronic document signing, you can turn your portals into sales spaces that automatically kick off projects once a contract is signed. In this video, I'll show you how to set that up, walking you through the process of crafting a Motion.io template that works alongside an automated Zapier workflow to tie everything together. What's up, everybody? Sam Cholbowski here, and I'm one of the co-founders of Motion.io, a client onboarding engagement platform that allows you to collect information, share deliverables, sign documents, and communicate with clients within white-labeled portals. Before diving into the setup process, I wanted to highlight a couple of things that you'll need in order to follow along with this video. The first one is a Zapier account. If you're new to Zapier, it's an automation platform that allows you to seamlessly connect thousands of different software applications in automated workflows called Zaps. If you haven't signed up for Zapier yet, you can click the link in the description of this video to create a free account. The second thing you're going to need is a Motion.io electronic document that you've created within your Motion.io account. And that's because to set up this workflow, I'll create a task in one of my Motion.io templates that asks the client to sign and submit a contract. Since I won't be walking through the full process of creating electronically signable documents in Motion.io, I recommend creating the contract or agreement you plan to use before following along with this video. The Motion.io knowledge base article I'll link in the description explains exactly how you can do that. Getting into the setup process for this workflow, you can see now I am here in my Motion.io account. For the first step of this workflow, I'm going to create a new Motion.io task in one of my templates. So I'm going to head to my library and click the edit icon here. And then I'll click the button here in the onboarding stage to create a new task. I'm going to give this task a title of Sign Contract. And then under task options, I'll click the toggle for Attach Documents. In the modal that opens, I'll select the document I'd like to use, and it will then update to ask me to specify who should be responsible for filling out the fields in this document. Because you cannot add clients to templates in Motion.io, you'll notice that the client field is grayed out. That means the only thing I need to do here is specify the team member who is going to be responsible for completing the team fields. And I'm going to set that as myself. If you're scratching your head and saying, well, how does a client get assigned to this task? Don't worry, because the workflow that we'll set up is going to automatically do this at a later step. Finally, after clicking save, I'll drag this task I just created to the top of the onboarding stage to make it clear to myself and my team that this task must be completed before any additional work can kick off. In addition to being able to set up automated workflows with Zapier, Motion.io also includes a full suite of in-app automations you can use. Because the rest of the tasks in my template depend on this sign contract task I created being completed, I'm going to add an automation that activates this task as soon as the project is created. Clicking the lightning bolt icon to open the automation modal for this task, I'll select activate this task as the action, and the project is created as the trigger. Well, you have the option to stop here and skip ahead to start completing the rest of the setup in Zapier. For my example, I'd like the additional tasks I have here in the onboarding stage, the tasks that ask the client to complete their onboarding form and schedule their kickoff call, to become active once the client completes the sign contract task. To do this, I'll repeat a similar process as I used to add the automation to the sign contract task, but this time, select the sign contract task being completed as the trigger event. With my template set up and ready to use, it's time to head over to Zapier to set up the final pieces of this workflow. In my Zapier account, I'll click the button to create a new Zap. Well, this Zap will feature an action that will automatically create a new project from that template you saw me modify just a few moments ago. I need a separate event that's going to trigger it. For my example, the Zap I'll be creating is going to trigger whenever a contact in our CRM has their status change from lead to send contract, which tells us that, hey, this person is ready. They said they want to move forward. The CRM that we use is Pipedrive. So I'm going to click the trigger option here and search for Pipedrive in the window. I'll select it. And then under the app and event tab, I'm going to select the person updated event. As I mentioned, I want this app to trigger whenever a specific status is updated. So I'm going to specify that under the trigger tab. From here, I'll simply test the trigger and click Continue with Selected Record. Before moving on, I should point out that the trigger event I'm using in my Zapier workflow is just one of thousands of options available. In addition to being able to use whatever CRM you'd like, you could consider using completely different triggers. For example, having your Zap trigger when a specific form is submitted, or have it trigger when a message is sent to a specific channel in Slack. And that's kind of the beauty of Zapier, is that it gives you this open playground to set things up in a way that's specific to you. Diving back into setting up this Zap, because the trigger I just created will fire for any status update to any person in Pipedrive, and I only want it to fire when a person's status is set to send contract, I'm going to go ahead and add a filter action. To do this, I'll select Zapier's filter as the next action of my Zap and configure it to only fire subsequent actions if person status update equals send contract. It's time to create the final step of the Zapier workflow, which will be an action that automatically creates new projects from my template. To do this, I'll click the action box and search for motion.io in the modal. Then I'll choose the Create Project action under App and Event and navigate to the Action tab to map my fields. To give you a quick breakdown of how I am mapping the fields for this action, for the portal template, I'm going to select the legal services template you saw me modify earlier. For the portal name, as well as the fields for client name and client email, I'll use the information that Pipedrive pulled in when the person's status was updated and map the fields accordingly. For the portal name, I always like to use the client or contact's name just because it helps keep things clear for me and my team. And then for the project owner, I'm going to manually enter my email address here, because every time that this workflow creates a project, I know that I'm not only going to be the owner of that, but I also want to be the one who is responsible for countersigning that agreement that will send the client as the first task in this project. Then finally, and most importantly, I'm going to make sure to set the immediately assign all tasks to clients field to true. The reason why I say that this last step is probably the most important of this entire workflow setup process is because if you don't set immediately assigned tasks to clients to true, this workflow will not work. So now let's go ahead and publish this Zap and give you the full review of this workflow to show you how it operates in real time. Because the Zap I set up triggers when a person's status in our CRM changes to send contract, I'm going to go ahead and modify the status of this sample contact I created earlier. And now that I've triggered my Zap, I'll head back into motion.io and open the project it created. Looking at the tasks here, you can see the first task for the client to sign the contract is set to active. And then clicking into the users tab, I'm able to confirm that the correct client was invited to this project and can copy their magic link to preview what the portal looks like on their end. Taking a quick peek at the client's view of this project by pasting their magic link into an incognito window, I can see that they're able to complete this contract directly in their portal. Once they do, the subsequent tasks I set up automations for will instantly become available, and that does it. Hopefully, this guide provided you with all of the information you need to set up workflows that automatically invite your clients to white-labeled portals where they can complete the contracts and agreements necessary for work on your projects to kick off. That said, if you get stuck or need assistance, our team is here to help. You can get in touch by emailing us at hello@motion.io or start a live chat with us by clicking the blue message icon you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner of your account settings page. Until next time, everybody, take care.